So there are essentially four freedoms. It's the freedom to brand the program as you wish for anything, the freedom to study how it works, how it behaves, so look into the code and see really the inner mechanisms. There's also the freedom to redistribute it as you want, to share it, to make copies of it. And yeah, the freedom to redistribute and the freedom to copy and modify the code as you need. So on top of these four freedoms, you can build a lot of things. And one of the most important things about the open source is that you are able to build on top of the knowledge that the others have. And that's, I think, the beauty of it. Although we have these good things about open source, there's one thing that I'm really focusing today, which is open source is kind of broken. Every day, people in the open source community are having issues, are having problems, are having troubles. And there are lots of things in the open source ecosystem that are not working well and that are getting worse every day. One of the things is so I listed here some of the issues. There are more, of course. One of them is the corporate control, so companies are taking over on the open source projects and are mainly focusing on profit, which has its issues. And the other main issue regarding the open source that everyone knows is regarding the sustainability of it. So how do I make money of open source things? How do I make money of free things? And I do not believe that open source and free software should be free for the people that build it. Of course, if you work on it, you should be rewarded. So let's not mistake open source and free software as the people that work with it should not be paid or should not be rewarded. Although it's really difficult to make these things happen together, it's a thing that we must be aware of, and that we must fight and must get focus on it. And there is also the problem that it's raising a lot, which is fragmentation within the communities. So you are probably aware of the fights between Debian and Ubuntu, or if I'm bringing it to this conference, so the fight between WordPress and Drupal, the fights between not always within the community itself, so, but from people within the open source community that are slightly outside those projects. So, for instance, a person that doesn't contribute to Ubuntu, neither Debian, but shares one or another with great strength, and so this causes fragmentation within the communities. So we should help each other, not fragment it, not attack the others. And this is getting a lot of issues. For instance, people are starting to quit projects because it takes effort to hear everyone complaining. It takes effort to focus on the good things and not the bad things. And this is also related with the contributor burnout. A little two big components. It's burnout from the guys that were there for a long time, so 10-year maintainers are getting burned out because newcomers have strong ideas or new technologies or just want to try things, and it is very common that someone starts, a newcomer starts getting interested about that project, wants to contribute, but wants also to try things. And it's very common for someone to arrive at a project, be there a couple of months, a couple of years, and then that person goes away. And if you have the point of view of a 10-year maintainer, you have the reasons to be against trying new stuff, against changes, because that person was there when everybody is trying to get a new technology, get a new thing, then it goes away. But if you want to build something that will last for 10 years, you have to be careful with those things. And so it is tiring if you are constantly pushing against something. On the other hand, you have, of course, the newcomers that just are interested, are excited with trying, with helping and learning. And you get a person that is all excited about wanting to help and do stuff. And then you have the old guys that are saying, no, you cannot do this, you cannot try this. This has been done for 10 years like this, you cannot change it. And so you have this duality that is breaking the community in a way. Because in one hand, you cannot just change everything, because you want this to last for 10 years, not just work for 2 months. And on the other hand, you must welcome new people, you must welcome changes. Changes are good if done in the right way, and changes can be bad if done without any responsibility. And so, I think the community part of the open source, so getting into the broader picture, the open source is mainly focused on the community. It's the strongest part, in my opinion. Of course, you have the projects, you have the code, you have the technology part of the open source. But in the end, it's the community, it's the people that build this culture. It's for people that we are building software. It's people that will leverage these strengths. And so, in the end, it's a little bit sad that those things are getting worse every day, and with the good things about the technology, there comes also the bad things about technology. So there are lots of interesting things to do. I am being called for lots of things. I want to play these games, I want to watch these shows, I want to go to these some places, whatever. We get lots of input, lots of things to do, and today nobody has time to invest, time to be with others, time to help, time to whatever. So in the end, there are lots of abandoned projects, there are lots of burnout, there are lots of fragmentation within the communities, and it's a thing that we must face. We must be aware that it's how things are, it's how things will be in the foreseeable future. So, how do we make things better? So, in a sense, we can make this question. So, why open source still matters? It has been important, it is important, but how can you take ask them to give, ask them to help. So why is it important? And there are things that the open source really helps and has real the power, the real power of open source relies on some things that I suggested here. So you, with open source, you can empower people. And I think this is the big stuff, the big issue is empowering people. So if you have some open source software, you can let people do what they want to do. If they want to solve some problem, they can. They are free to do it. They are not limited by licenses, by some government, some company that doesn't let them do. So you are free to unleash your power. If you want to do something big, something great, you are free to do it. And then there is the big community part of collaboration. That Drupal is one of the communities that is doing this really well. They are gathering people who are contributing to each other, doing this in a collaborative way, and you have a community. And in the end, we are people, we are social animals, so we are kind of programmed to work with others, to be part of something, to be part of the community. And this is really important, and sometimes, most of the times, we forget about this. Sometimes we are really focused on working, on building some software. We are focused on problems, we are focused on trying to fix something. And we forget sometimes that the important thing is people. We are doing this because we believe we are helping others, or because we believe this is covering fixing some issue, fixing some problems that are problems for people. I'm not trying to fix the feelings of my computer. I'm not trying to make my computer happy. I'm trying to make people happy. I'm trying to help solve people's problems. So, in the end, we must not forget that the community is probably the most important thing. The people are the important thing that we must focus. And open source is really a good cultural good ecosystem that can really help on this. And there are also other important things that open source can help. So the personal growth is something that I usually tell people that the open source is really good for. So you can learn, you can try and test, you can challenge yourself, you can challenge others. So you are free to try, free to learn, free to test within the open source world. And this makes it grow. You grow by learning, you can go to classes, you can go to the school to learn. But I think you all agree that you really learn by doing stuff. You understand how things work by testing it, by breaking it, and by fixing it. It's the way that you really become expert in something. And so, open source is something that really helps on this thing. And there's also the giving back part. So, there are some philosophical thinkings that I agree with, that we as humans, we must have some needs fulfilled. And one of it is the feeling of kind of accomplishment, having higher motivation for doing something. And giving back is explainable, usually. You cannot reach someone and tell him, you should contribute to open source because you will give back to the community. It must be something that comes within. The good part is you usually don't have to convince anyone about that. You don't have to teach someone that it's good to give back. Usually people are kind of programmed to do that. Usually once you give back, you learn that it is good. It feels good when you teach somebody and somebody is growing because of you. It feels good that people are using something that you helped build. It feels nice if someone is using a software that you helped translate. So there are lots of things that just feel nice about contributing, about being part of something. And this is something that we should have on our mind when talking with others, when doing stuff, when building, when being with the community. You can have this in the back of your minds to remember and to think, why are people here? Why can't I hear? Why are people coming? So there are lots of things, and the giving back is something that has a powerful meaning. And so there are lots of things why open source matters. I will just focus on the last one, the collective responsibility, because this one applies not only to people, to individuals, but to collectives. So government, companies. There is a problem around the sustainability of the open source project, as I already told. And it is really difficult for you as an individual to change some parts of it. But if you are a company, if you are responsible, if you are a person that can change policies inside the company, inside the government, inside a big structure, big collective structure, you have a special responsibility. You are the one that can change things, that can move things for a better place. And so one thing that Ensol does, the Open Source Portuguese Community Association, is speak with governments and try to tell them why open source is good, why open source is the way to go. And there are lots of small projects and small initiatives, small and not so small initiatives, that are trying to speak with the governments and people that can implement changes. And one good example is the public code. So we, people that contribute to the society, we pay taxes, we invest many taxes actually, that sometimes are getting spent multiple times on the same solution. So, for instance, the government spends money on developing a project that is applied only on this small town, but the other town has a problem, so it will spend the same amount developing another solution, the same thing. And usually these solutions are bought from private companies or whatever, but the solution itself is proprietary, is not modifiable. So instead of building something common or start developing on top of something that already exists, the government is spending time to develop something just for them. And in the end, you cannot take anything, you cannot reuse a thing, a responsibility that is part of the collective. It's not part of you and you as individuals, but we as a society should be focusing on spending our resources wisely. So, open source is nice, open source is broken. There's still things that really matter in the open source. So, how can we get out of this? Well, how can we do better? One thing that I think is a good way of thinking is trying to get more people aware of this, trying to bring people to this culture. And usually that breaks down into what's in for me. What do you, person that I'm trying to convince, I'm trying to create awareness, how do I make you want to come? So the usual, the thing that usually works is what's in for you. What do you have what will you get if you understand and if you embrace the open source culture? And there are some things that I already spoke about the skill development, and the career opportunities, the personal growth, the professional growth. There's also the networking part. So, as I said, communities and people are really important, and the networking part, getting to know people, getting to know opportunities, getting to know projects, is really helpful for me as an individual. So, if you want to make someone come, tell them why they should come. What will they gain with it? And all of these things are really nice, nice reasons to be part of the community, to be part of the project, to be part of the whole community. So you can take this in your life when talking about that. And there's also the other part, what's in for us as a society. If you join this community, what will everyone gain with that? The shared knowledge is one of the most important things. We as humans, we as society, have smartphones on our hands that could not be built by humans. So, we as a society, if we help people join us, if more people join and more people help, we will have more shared knowledge, we will have lower cost of things, things will grow faster and faster with better innovation, better security, better implementations, better sustainability even. And if people understand that you don't need to do something great, you don't need to be an expert to join the community, you don't need to be a technical person, you don't need to know about everything. You actually don't need to know about anything. Sometimes just being part of the community, you are helping just for being the person that you are, just for being different. You are helping. So don't take a step back just because you think you don't know, just because you think you will not help. Everyone is important. And so one thing that I really want to focus is don't wait for change. Do it yourself. So, on one hand, you as an individual cannot do much. But on the other hand, you as an individual something that I'm getting as a difficulty nowadays. Because everyone is waiting for others to do something. I'm waiting for the government to act. I'm waiting for the others to organize something. I'm waiting for others to decide for me. And I understand it's really easier to just wait for others to do. But do I want that? Or do I want something better? Do I want to live in a better world? So I'm focusing on open source, but actually you can replace open source with everything. It depends on you as an individual. And it depends on you to try to speak with others so that every person can join, every person, every individual does that for working with a bigger community. And so for these to work, there are some things that we should be aware of when welcoming others to our community or group, or when we want to join other groups. So, welcome newcomers with patience and guidance. So, remember, when a new person wants to join, usually that person is excited or wants to help or whatever. So, welcome them. Be patient with them, and remember, they don't know. They probably want to know, but they don't. So there's usually a pitfall regarding communities and projects, which is thinking that we are enough. Like, I have 5, 10, 20 people in this project, and we are good, and we are doing things great, and we are. Everything is nice and shiny. And usually I forget that these people will go away for one reason or for another. Maybe they get interested in something else. Maybe they need to focus on their family. Maybe they got sick. And people come and go. And so if we don't welcome newcomers, if we don't bring new people into the communities, the project, the community, whatever, will die. So be mindful of that. Try to bring more people. I know it's difficult. I know it's very, very difficult because of all those shiny things that are more interesting than what I have to offer. But we cannot stop trying, at least. And then, other things that you should do. Embrace the values of the open source group. Collaboration itself. So, collaboration, transparency, freedom, be welcome to others, let them be free, let them do stuff with responsibility, of course. But respect others is something that we must be focused on daily, not on open source, on life. Respect others in the traffic, respect others in the queues, in the supermarket, everywhere. But I'm speaking about open source, so I will stay. And yeah, promote encourage people to contribute no matter this for people. So have people in mind, embrace the culture, the social impacts, the projects, of the way I lead the project, the way our community organizes. So there is the technical part, there is the computers part, the bits and bytes, but there is everything around it that we must cultivate and must take care of. So we should not forget that. And also fundamentalisms. So, and this is something that bothers me a lot, is when I have people that are defending the right causes, defending open source, and are trying to speak to others that don't know about it. Why is that so? Why is that the right solution? For instance, when I'm trying to convince a Windows user that you should install Linux, am I doing this the right way? If you be in the other person's feet, think about that. So, I used something for all my life, and this person that I don't know, that I just met 5 minutes ago, is saying to me that, no, you are doing this wrong for all your life. You have been doing this wrong for 5, 10, 20, 50 years. You should change this for this thing that you don't know. Just change it. It will be fine. You will be better with it. It will not. And most of the times we forget about this. We forget that change is not easy. We as humans are not very good welcoming change. Although change is a nice thing, we must do it responsibly. So, I will ask all of you, have that on your mind the next time you speak about someone, to try to adopt some different thing. Yes, it's really nice, yes, you should do it, yes, tell them why things are great on the other side. But don't ask them to move just because, don't force them to do it. Instead, welcome them to do it. Be available for helping them. Be available for showing them how to do it. Tell them to bring one foot at a time. Don't force them to jump to the roof. Don't force them too much, because most of the times we are just pushing people away. And it's sad that something that I really believe will help them, just because I'm doing it the wrong way, just because I'm forcing them, they will not do it. It's like kids. If you force a kid to do something, he or she will do just the opposite. Exactly so. Be kind to others. Don't judge people. And don't make them feel bad for their choices. Because most of the time they did those choices because they didn't know any better. Or because they forced them. So most people use Windows, it's not because they choose Windows, it's because you go to a store and it has Windows on it. Don't judge people because of that. Instead, welcome them. Show them, instead of changing the entire operating system, show them a piece of open source software that will help them. So start on smaller things, because step by step we will get on a better place. Regarding the government, that's usually it can be a different approach. Sometimes you have to impose laws and you have to impose things for things to change. But with people, if you do it carefully, if you do it step by step, usually people will welcome that. You'll be happy responsibility in this. So do not wait for leaders, do it alone, person to person. And by alone, it doesn't mean do it without others. It means start the change that you want to have, start it yourself, and do that with others. But do not do that because of others. Do not do that only because others ask you to. If you want to have things working differently, if you want to have things, if you want to have better things, start it. You don't have to do something great, but you should start something. Join a community, join some kind of project. Speak with others, ask them if they need help. Ask help for them. Usually we sometimes forget that we must ask for help. I'm usually too focused on fixing some problem, fixing something, implementing a solution, and I forget that others could help me if I ask. So we are people, the open source ecosystem is here because of people, it's here to help people, and we can help people by leveraging it. But it's for people. It's me as an individual, you, everyone, everybody here is the reason for me to be part of the open source. And that's it. If you want to speak with me later, or if you want to check the social things, be free to do it. Also, install with other communities, the Drupal community included, is helping organizing a Portuguese conference that will happen in October in Porto, which is the Festival of Software Week, open source free software festival, and it's a free, as in it will be free for everyone to join, no cost about joining, about being part of it. It will be a conference with workshops, with talks like this one, and it's organized by the communities for the communities and for the people. So be free to join, and if you want to help, if you are in Portugal, if you are in Portugal, it's better. If you want to help, to organize, to help to make a better event, just join us, call me, or join us wherever you are able to. So thank you all, and have a great day. I'm not sure if there will be any questions, but if anyone wants to ask something.
Yeah, I have a question.
You have a microphone there.
This microphone?
Thank you for the talk. It was kind of inspiring. I don't know if you're aware of the European Union to move into open source software one more time. Like, it's a lot of echo. Okay. So I don't know if you're aware of the European Union to move into open source software one more time because of the being more independent of the USA, software licenses or so on. I don't know. Do you think that it's going to be the official move for all the countries? Like instead of spending taxpayers' money into software licenses, start investing into open source software that is better for the freedom of the population and also protecting the interests of the people and also the data privacy and so on. I mean, Germany did it already, so moving to Linux, they failed, so they moved back to Microsoft, and now they're moving back again into Linux. There is also a coalition between France and Germany that they are doing Google Docs or some kind of software like this based on open source as well. Do you think this is the definitive move, or is just let's say it's going to be useless?
in editing, but I really think it's a really good opportunity that we are seeing here for the open source ecosystem. Not for the world. We are living in strange days. Everything is kind of unstable. But in a sense, this is bringing some awareness of things that people were ignoring until now. Despite the fact that there are lots of people that were telling the governments about the data sovereignty, about the open source, about the stuff that you are running, about where you keep your citizens' data, and until now people were ignoring that. But it happened a few years ago with the United States against China. They were aware of that, and currently everybody is getting aware of that against the United States as well. So, despite the fact that it's not a very good thing happening worldwide, it's a very good opportunity that we are seeing here. Although the opportunity is very, very good, we must not forget that people are implementing it, people are analyzing it, and people are deciding about that. People do mistakes all the time. I hope, and I'm certain that we are walking to a better place. There are things that will be not very good, but I think there are lots of things that will be better after this. So yes, there is a really good opportunity nowadays that was not happening for a long time. That people are aware that these things that we've been talking, preaching for many, many years are real. People are getting interested about my privacy, where is my data, who is listening to my conversations, and people are aware of that. So this is also one thing that is a motivation for everybody. Open source is the most perfect solution, because if you are not happy about data, where data is, you can just put it somewhere else. You can choose, you can do different. And yeah, I think we will walk to a better place. I'm also certain that mistakes will happen, but it's life. But yeah, we must take this opportunity and kind of be happy in a sense about all the sadness that